This is like my 8th try of this, and hopefully I can get this done because it's pushing 3 in the morning. So, I was given a PDF by my GM. That PDF was the original Gamma World. I understand why he gave me a PDF of it that I assume he bought online. He chain emailed it to everyone in my gaming session, and a few other people. A few other people's emails I didn't really notice, considering they were aliases, like my email. So, this book is expensive if you're buying original printing. I just printed this out and bound it with thermal binding because I just cannot look at a screen for hours on end. I'm just one of those people. Or at least read hours on end. So, I have 6 markers. I'm going to talk about these markers in the book. My first marker is character creation. Character creation is typically Dungeons and Dragons. On other games along that criteria. Character types, which are essentially, at the time they were classes, but I assume they're more races if you're put into a modern setting, or a modern RPG. This is the original one I'm reviewing, so it goes back to 1978. So the character types are pure strain human, which is human like you and I, a human without a mutation. A humanoid is a human with a mutation. These are the most common people. Then there's mutated animals, or anthropomorphics. I love anthropomorphics. So there's 6 base attributes, like Dungeons and Dragons. But wisdom was replaced with mental strength, which typically wisdom is your mental strength. And then strength in Dungeons and Dragons was switched to physical strength. Constitution, dexterity, charisma, and intelligence are still there. Then there's a few paragraphs about non-playable characters and hopeless characters. Then it goes into your tables upon tables, or more like 3 tables, then a ton of writing for each meaning of mutations. So I'm going to go to my second marker, which my second marker is combat. Combat is very basic, but there's a few things added onto it, which I'm not sure if this was taken from Metamorphosis Alpha, which I have not played, and thanks to Greyhawk 4x4, I might be buying a copy. If I can find a PDF online in like RPG Drive-Thru or something, or RPG Now, something like that, I will buy it. But if not, I will buy the collectors. I think it was collectors or something like that. Some expensive edition of the game. There's mental combat, then there's physical combat. I'll be more touching on physical combat, because mental combat is kind of more with the mental mutations. Armor class is typically the same as Dungeons and Dragons, 10 being the lower, 1 being the highest, or retro Dungeons and Dragons. Weapon class is the exact opposite. 1 is the lowest, and that is for basic stuff like clubs, hammers, maces, pretty much tools. And 16 is for fusion rifles, micro missiles, and mini missiles. Micro and mini, I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. Whatever the book says. Then the next page straight after that, after those tables, there's, or they call them matrix in this game, but tables upon tables of targets, armor class, pretty much hitting people with hit dice and with armor class. Then there's also the mental matrix. And there is the damage pools and the range. That's really all I have to pick up on it. After that, there is the bestiary, or the creatures of the game. Since I'm not the GM, I will not read the GM's part, but I have to point out there's a very nice table for pretty much every single terrain. You just roll a d20 and you see what random encounter you get. I like that. I read a bit through the bestiary. I like the, it's like the, I'll get the name for you. It's pretty much a mutated shark. No, I cannot find it. Oh no. The Zarn, is it? No, the Zarn's the beetle. I know, I remember there was a shark, and that really got my eyes. And then it goes into the Cryptic Alliance, which I read a bit about. And then robots. Or sorry, hazards, then robots, I believe. Yep. I like this dragon type thing, which is pretty nice. So, third last marker that I put in the book. This is the weapons and artifacts section. Okay. So, I'm going here. There is all the damage once again, except for it goes like pistols 1d6, and it has a list of all the pistols. And then the artifact category, pretty much it's rolling random treasures. So you'd roll a d100 or a percentile die, and it goes by what type of weapon, and also has their damage, which is nice. I like that a lot. Then then it goes into explaining each of the weapon, which I like. And it explains their ammunition, etc. Oh, here it goes into robot units, I apologize. I thought it was after the bestiary. So yes, this bit on, I believe, is the referee section. Yes, starting a campaign, this is for the referee, which I will look at. That's nice art though. Piba Dermal. On the last bit on this, or is it the last bit? Yes, it is. What was my second? My second one was, or my second last one was experience. Sorry, I skipped experience completely. As for what I understand, experience is kind of like a shop on its own. You have to get a certain amount of experience to use an item, which is completely understandable. Not necessarily to acquire the item, but to have the skill to use one, which is understandable. I cannot just pick up an assault rifle and start going around shooting people. Doesn't make sense. I need experience in weapons to do that in a real life setting. Obviously, this with the retro D&D-esque engine this runs, or system, there is no individual skills or proficiencies or anything like that yet. I assume they add that in later editions, considering there's a D20 and there's a 4th edition. which I think the D20 is the 4th edition of the game, and the 7th or the 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons is the 7th edition. I might be wrong about that. So essentially, there is pretty much like in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm trying to think how to word this. In like Dungeons and Dragons, every few levels you get to roll a dice, and what that governs what attribute you bonus, or you could pick if you have a nice DM. Usually my DM likes a lot of random, likes everything to be randomized. So this one page is these page and a half, which is explaining XP. It's an iffy thing to explain. I spent way too much time trying to explain it. Then the last thing is the overall tables, which are very, very, very nice. And they have a second bestiary right here. Or, yeah, it's bestiary on the areas. So, essentially, it would have the desert, and would have all the monsters and their stats, and has treasure and whatnot, has treasure tables and whatnot. Sorry if I stutter a lot, if I've stuttered a lot in this video. I'm a bit nervous. First time reviewing a book and recording myself. Hope you guys have a good day. Hope you guys either can give me advice on Gamma Worlds, on the actual game, and tell me about your house rules, etc. I will be glad to look into them, and I'm always up for house rules. I'm pro house rule person, and if you have any advice for me reviewing or YouTubing, I'll also take that. Thank you.